Look, 2 weeks ago, when Christian Horner made that statement, he said he will let his drivers race. He's not going to play politics. He's not going to come in between the two drivers. He's not going to favour Max Verstappen over Perez. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. But what did he do today? It was blatantly obvious what Red Bull done today. They prioritise Max Verstappen over Perez. Very simple. It's clear to see. Look, when he made that statement 2 weeks ago, I said, I'll see it when I believe it. I do not care what they say. Don't care how many statements Christian Horner makes in the media. I know they are always going to favour Max Verstappen over Perez. Look, in qualifying, you can see that Perez is clearly the faster driver. Clearly. But Helmut Marko, fuckhead, he wants to go run into the board, and you've also got Max Verstappen's dad, who shouldn't even have a platform after his checkered history. You got him running to Helmut Marko running to Christian Horner, and they're all collaborating together and say, look, we need to have Max in front of Perez. The season is not even halfway through. It's not even halfway through, and we are clearly seeing team orders. Clearly. Like I said yesterday in my qualifying video, if I'm going to go back and watch my qualifying video, I said it clearly. I said in my qualifying video that when they had the last stint of qualifying, you saw Jonathan Wheatman, fuckhead, go over to the Red Bull garage, look straight directly at Perez, and Perez's team and saying, what are you doing? Get out there. Perez's team said, no, there's a problem with refilling. There was no problem. Basically, Perez's team didn't want to give Max Verstappen the toe. But you could see clearly that the management wanted to give Max Verstappen the toe. Didn't work out. Perez got pole. Now he got second in front of Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc got pole, sorry. So you could see there what was going on. And in the race today, you could clearly see that they probably told Perez to slow down. Where did Perez's pace go? Nowhere. Suddenly disappeared. And all of a sudden, he was in front of Max Verstappen. All of a sudden, the pit strategy, that was the funniest. How long was Perez in the pit? Why was Perez in the pit that long? Why? They gave Max Verstappen a good pit, but when Perez came into the pits, you clearly saw them change the tyres and blatantly hold Perez for about 5 seconds, then say go. So Max had that nice buffer in front of him. Why was it like that? Why? I think there should be an investigation, in my opinion. I don't care about if it's an in-team thing. There should be an investigation of the rules. There should be a rules where it says you cannot do that. When Bottas used to move over for Hamilton because of the championship, when Bottas knew he couldn't win the championship, when it was clearly that Bottas was never going to win the championship, yeah, he used to play team orders. And when you saw the geeks online, the geeks, the keyboard warriors, the ones that are never, ever, ever know nothing about Formula One, keyboard warriors, you heard them come on the Twitter and say, look, why is Bottas moving over for Lewis? Why? You hear them all online, you see them typing away on the keyboard. Keyboard warriors running Lewis Hamilton down and saying, look, why is Mercedes allowing that to happen? Because the reason why Mercedes was allowing that to happen, because it was clear by then that Bottas was not going to win the title. But Perez, we're not even halfway through the season, and Perez, there's a chance that he could win the world title. There's a chance. There's a very good chance. He's clearly faster than Max Verstappen in qualifying, and when it comes to the race, all of a sudden his speed disappears. That is suspect. And then they're telling him to say, look, don't fight. He's in front of Max Verstappen. Clearly Perez is slowing down, and they're saying to Perez, no fighting. No fighting. Team orders right there. But you're not going to hear the geeks online. No. You're not going to hear the keyboard warriors. The keyboard warriors and the mic on the keyboard typing away. That's why they're not credible. This is why I'm credible. I am solo P1. I don't give a fuck if you like me or you hate me. What it boils down to, I will tell the truth. That has been my slogan from the beginning. I will tell the truth every time. It doesn't matter if it's Lewis Hamilton doing something wrong. It doesn't matter if it's Alonso doing something wrong. And it doesn't matter if Leclerc's doing something wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're my favourites. I'm still going to call them out when they do something wrong. Very simple. That's where I am credible. I might not have the biggest channel. Far from it. But I always tell the truth. These geeks out there with these big F1 channels who just want to get sponsored by certain companies, they won't tell the truth. They will switch the other side because it's popular. They want to get follows, they want to get clicks, they want to get likes. When I get clicks and likes, I want to get it on merit. Merit for telling the truth. Very simple. And that's the way I've always been, and that's the way I'm always going to be. I'll never change. That's me, solo P1. No team orders. I want to see Perez and Max go wheel to wheel, if possible, fair. And then we'll see who's the best. I know who's the best. I don't care what anybody says. To me, Perez is a better driver than Max Verstappen. I do not care if you can look at me and say, oh, you're only saying that because you don't like Max. No. Perez is a much more skilled driver than Max Verstappen. Perez can go wheel to wheel with somebody without pushing them off the track. Perez can go wheel to wheel with somebody without blatantly bashing them into the barrier. Very simple. Can you say that about Max Verstappen? No. No. Perez, very skilled, seasoned vet. And if you give him a chance, he's going to show you Wagwan. Now, lights out of the way we go. Charles Leclerc was on pole. We know that from yesterday. But Perez, he got a good jump on him in that first corner. The pressure was on Charles. Perez was not pulling out. Charles locked up. Perez passed him on the first corner. But Charles done enough just to stay second. He didn't lock up completely like Lewis Hamilton done last year when he went straight into the runoff area. He scolded his tyres only a little bit, nothing really big. And he done enough just to get round the first corner and stay second. So that was a lifeline for Charles Leclerc. Because if Charles Leclerc would have pushed down on the brakes anymore, he would have went off into the runoff area, and that would have been his race in the toilet straight away. He would have been at the back behind Latifi. Now, right, do this. Do it there. Now, lights out, we've done all that. Latifi, there was an incident. There was an investigation for Latifi. Investigation. Latifi. Why is this geek still in the F1 car? I don't care about your family, about the coffee. Get out. Don't want you here. Never wanted you here. Didn't deserve the seat in the first place. Do one. Go work in the field making coffee. Do one. We do not want you here. You have not shown not one bit of talent since you've been in Formula 1. Not one. Even Albon, the geek, is doing you over. Albon. Come to think of it, Albon is showing promise. I was one of the first guys last season, the year before. I still don't like him, but I'm going to give him credit. Albon is showing promise. Since Albon has came back and has gone into the Williams, it's the second Albon. Congratulations to him. And he's beating Latifi. That's not really a big achievement, is it? But he's still beating Latifi. They're like the same Formula 1. The first person you're going to beat is your teammate. And then Albon's doing it. Albon is showing promise. Good for him. Still don't like him though. There you go. So, the incident was lap investigation. They didn't tell us what it was first. He said he was under investigation. I don't think the commentators knew at this point. It was happening so fast. But lap 1 incident, he was under investigation. So, within the first lap, Perez was half a second up on Charles Leclerc. The straight line speed of the Red Bull was showing yesterday. Well, showing today. The straight line speed of the Red Bull, half a second in front of Charles Leclerc, first lap. You had Max Verstappen behind Charles Leclerc trying to get a toe off him. Charles Leclerc was doing enough just to stay out of the DRS of Max Verstappen. So at the moment, it was the Perez had the advantage. I know for a fact in that Red Bull pit lane, in the garage, they was vexed. They wanted Max Verstappen in first place. They wanted their golden boy in first place. Because when Perez took Charles Leclerc in that first corner, the cameras went right back to Christian Horner. And what was Christian Horner doing? That's what Christian Horner was doing. If that was Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen took Charles Leclerc in the first corner, they'll be all celebrating. Imagine that. They will be all celebrating. There'll be cheers, there'll be laughter, all of that. Cheering. That's what they'll be doing. Laughing all over the place. Laughing, and cheering. Drinking, having a party. If that was Max Verstappen taking Perez and taking Charles Leclerc in that first corner. But it didn't, did they? There was like this, gormless. That shows you at the team orders. Don't come on my comment section and say I'm wrong, because you know I'm right, you geek. So, lap 3. The investigation was a stop and go penalty. That was the punishment. It was basically the starting grid infringement. There was an infringement on the starting of the grid. One of Latifi's engineers was still on the grid when he wasn't supposed to. So that was an infringement of the rules at the starting of the grid, and he got a stop and go penalty, 10 seconds. But let's just face it, it doesn't matter anyway. He's still going to finish last. You can give it, it doesn't matter if he doesn't get any penalties. It doesn't matter, right? If he starts front row on the grid for some fucking reason, he's still not going to win. He's still going to end up last. Very simple. Shouldn't be in Formula 1. Get out, Latifi. So, basically, something about the tyres not fitting. Who cares? He got a stop and go penalty. Lap 9. Ferrari was going smooth. Sainz was in 4th place. What happened to Sainz? It wasn't Sainz's fault. All of a sudden, hydraulic problems with his car. He had to pull out of the race. There you go again. Sainz, the bad luck continues. You know what Sainz reminds me of? Sainz reminds of Nico Hülkenberg. Remember when Nico Hülkenberg, talented German driver, he had to leave Formula 1 at a young age, but he was just riddled with bad luck. That's what Carlos Sainz is like. He's riddled with bad luck. And that's what happened. He's not fitting in with the red team. He's just not fitting in. I know it wasn't his fault that the car that he broke down. I know it wasn't his fault that the hydraulics went, but it still happened to him. So that was Carlos Sainz out of the race. Big blow to Ferrari and the constructors. Look how many points that Ferrari's hemorrhaged in this season alone, just for the DNFs. So many, especially from Carlos Sainz, his car. So Charles pits under. It was a 5.4 seconds. That was because that brought out the virtual safety car. No full safety car. To me, it should have been a safety car, but it was a virtual safety car. Charles pits 5.4 seconds. Russell pits, Gasly and Hamilton pits, but comes out 11th. Hamilton went in there. I think he was 5th or 6th place, but when he came out the pits, he lost about 4 or 5 positions. 11th place. So basically, Hamilton went in there. I think he was 6th. He came out 11th. So there you go. Pitting Hamilton right there and then, last position. Russell went in there, came back out, same position. Again, Lewis Hamilton, bad luck with the safety car again. So, you had Paul di Resta, fuckhead, come out on the radio and says, Hamilton's going to be thinking that everybody's against him, but it's not like that. It's the way it is. It's not the way it is. It's not the way it is. Shut your mouth. You know what? Why is he still on my TV, Paul di Resta? Paul di Resta should be exited from the building, exited from Formula 1. When his contract comes up, do not renew. Renew me. I'm better. Trust me. So, he says on here, Paul di Resta came out and says, do you reckon that Red Bull dubbed Ferrari with his pick when Carlos Sainz's car broke down? It wasn't the fact. The fact is that when the virtual safety car come out, the Red Bulls already passed the pit lane. That's the reason why they didn't pit. If they was by the pit lane and they saw the virtual safety car come out, I'm sure that Red Bull would have pitted. But because it's Paul di Resta, that is a Red Bull mark. He came out and he said, you know what? maybe Red Bull playing a smart game, not pitting. No, dumbass. They didn't pit because they passed the pit lane. That's the reason why. So, Max Verstappen came out on the radio and said, look, was that a free pit stop for Ferrari? Engineer said, yeah, it was. He goes, how many laps ago? And he goes, 40 plus laps. Don't worry about it. But at this point, I was thinking to myself, I reckon Charles Leclerc's in a good position here. If he doesn't break down or there's no incident in the pit again, I think he will sail through, no problem. Lap 13, Vettel was chasing Ocon. Vettel showing his true talent like he did back in the day when he was at his Red Bull days. And even when he was at his Ferrari days, to be fair, he was chasing Ocon. And basically, lap 13, he was chasing Ocon. And turn 3, he locked up, scolded his tyres a little bit, nearly went into the barrier, just missed the barrier. And he lost places to Tsunoda. So he went into 12th place, Vettel. But at the end of the day, they didn't pit. He was always going to catch Ocon again anyway, because Ocon will still have to pit. But I think Vettel wanted to pass him first before Ocon pitted. Then he would have had that more advantage over him. But that's what you're doing. If you got a guy in front of you and he ain't pitted and you pitted, you still want to pass him to get that advantage over the other driver. But Vettel fucked up. He locked up. He went into the corner. He didn't damage his car. He didn't hit the barrier. I think he just went off into the runoff area. And then Tsunoda, he just lost one place to Tsunoda and he went down to 12th place. Lap 15. Now I'm going to get into lap 15. Perez was slowing down for Max. Blatantly slowing down for Max. You could see he was slowing down for Max. And then the radio says, don't fight him. No fighting. So basically, that was basically saying to Perez, you ain't winning no fucking race. You're not winning no Baku. You're not winning no race. It's going to be Max Verstappen, our baby boy. Not you. You will stay in line, do your job, and stay second. You might have your new contract, but that doesn't give you the rights to win this race. That's what Red Bull are saying. Because all of a sudden, Perez's speed went away. Paul di Resta started talking about, maybe he's harder on the rear tyres. No, Paul di Resta. It's nothing to do with the rear tyres. The reason why they told Perez to slow down, because they want the baby boy Max to win the race. Even Kraft had come out and said, don't you think that was team orders? And Paul di Resta went, nah, not really. We don't know yet. If that was Lewis Hamilton, he would be saying that's team orders. But because it's Max Verstappen, his son, he wants it to be his son. The reason why he's saying that is because he wants to, basically he's a Red Bull fan. We know how it goes. That's the reason why. Perez shouldn't have slowed down. Perez should have never slowed down. I would have said, forget that. I ain't slowing down. I'm going to win this race and carry on. A bit like what Vettel did to Mark Webber when he said to Mark Webber, remember, multi-21, Seb, multi-21. And Seb goes, forget that, mate. Forget the multi-21. I'm winning this race, mate. Very simple. And that's what Perez should have done. Perez is going to start showing some nuts, man. He's going to start selling to Red Bull, I want to win this championship. How can you play team orders and there's only a few points between them at this point of the season? I don't understand if Max was 50 points in front and there was about like 8 races to go, but we're not even halfway through the fucking season and they're playing team politics already. Unbelievable. Now, lap 17, Perez pits. This is where the more suspect was coming in. Perez pits. He comes into the pit. They put the hard tyres on. They swap the tyres and they hold him for 5 seconds. Tyres go on, they're holding him there. Holding him, blatantly holding Perez. For what? For what? You want to tell him the football results? You want to tell him who's going to fucking Spain, Real Madrid? What the fuck? Why are you holding Perez in the pit for 5 seconds? Blatantly obvious. And even Paul di Resta said, the stupid Red Bull geek. Even Paul di Resta says, why are they holding Perez there? 5 seconds. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, this is where it all started to go. This is where it all started to look. Lap 19, Max pits. Perfect pit. Again, 3 seconds for Max Verstappen. And as soon as Max Verstappen set that fastest time, Perez sets the fastest lap. All of a sudden, Perez's time came back. All of a sudden, Perez's speed came back into this race. He had to slow down, and all of a sudden, he does the fastest lap. Suspect. Very suspect. So, lap 21, Charles Leclerc, blowout. Finished. Unbelievable. Charles Leclerc. Ah, Ferrari. Ferrari, unbelievable. A blowout for Charles Leclerc. Unbelievable. Who would ever thought that Ferrari would have had a double DNF? A double DNF. You know what that is? Utter shit. Unbelievable. Damn! Why are Ferrari suffering now? At the beginning of the season, perfect engine, perfect power unit, perfect hydraulics. Now all of a sudden now, Ferrari are getting DNFs. Had some geek come on the TV and said it's probably something to do with COVID. That's the reason why. I've never heard so much crap in my life. So the commentator saying maybe it's COVID. What the fuck has COVID got to do with it? COVID is gone. COVID. That's the reason why their car's breaking down, because of COVID. How long ago was COVID? Anyway, Charles Leclerc at the race, lap 21, engine blows out. Magnussen, blowout, lap 33, another Ferrari engine. So we had all the Ferrari power units getting blowouts out of the race. So Magnussen, again, another blowout. He must be pissed off, man. Magnussen coming to this season absolutely on a high. He had his kid there with him. He had his missus there and him. He had a second chance in Formula 1. He had a big sneaky grin on his face with like Magnussen always has. And look what's happening now. What's happening now? The guy can't even finish a race. He must be thinking, please God, please let me finish a race. The guy can't finish a race. Blowouts, engine failures. That's two blowouts. That's two DNFs in a row now for Magnussen. Unbelievable. That Ferrari engine and that power unit, whatever it is here, the hydraulics, they need to sort that shit out, because if they don't sort it out, Charles Leclerc is not going to win this title. I still think that Charles Leclerc is going to win the championship. Long way to go. We're not even halfway through. We saw how the season turned around before, when Charles Leclerc was 40 points in front of Max Verstappen, and it suddenly turned around in a couple of races. There's a lot more races to go. And all this porpoising as well with the cars. There's a lot of porpoising going around in the car. It's not just Mercedes. It's not just Aston Martin. There's a few other drivers, even McLaren as well. There's a lot of drivers coming together about this porpoising. They need to get these cars sorted. I talked about it yesterday in my qualifying video. You can go and watch that. That's in the links in the description below. You can go on my channel and see that. I'll talk about more in depth about the porpoising of the cars, about and I'll talk about how Toto and some other team owners are coming together trying to get this sorted, but try and go back to the old way of driving. Because this ground effect is not working. The only team it's working for is Red Bull. Funny that, innit? Safety car come out, Red Bull pitted, Lewis pitted, Gasly stayed out, which I thought was a mistake, because Gasly was in front of Lewis, and Gasly stayed out. Lewis pitted, put the hard tyres on, so they all had fresh tyres in. For me, Lewis had a great race. Lewis had a great race, man. You know what I mean? He finished behind his teammate again. All right, Lewis, he got on fourth place. But look, it's a third or fourth for Mercedes. That's a good point for the constructors. Eventually, when the virtual safety car ended, Hamilton caught up Gasly, because obviously Gasly didn't pit past Gasly, and he got him slotted himself into fourth place. Amazing race by Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton got a driver of the day. Don't really care about that award. It's all fixed anyway. The driver of the day. When he was winning everything, winning race after race after race, when he was getting 100 wins, and he was getting the pole record, he was getting the front row record, he never got a driver of the day. Never. They all voted for someone like Max or Charles or something like that. Now Hamilton's down, they want to go, oh yeah, we're giving driver of the day. Now Hamilton is down, they want to give him driver of the day. It's all fixed. Blatantly fixed, like I said from the beginning. That award does not mean shit. Now, at the end, there was a little mini battle between the two McLaren drivers. Like, McLaren guy come onto the radio, said to Lando, don't fight him, just sit behind Daniel Ricciardo. And Lando Norris says, why? That was only at the beginning of the race, not now. We should be able to fight. but he didn't. He stayed behind Daniel Ricciardo. But at one point, I thought Lando was going to try and pass him. He could have passed him. You could see that Lando was the fastest car. A bit like Imola a couple of years ago when Daniel Ricciardo won Imola. He could have passed Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, but the team told him to sit behind Daniel Ricciardo. But Daniel Ricciardo had a decent result, but, you know, it still could have been better. Finished 8th place. That's still good for Daniel Ricciardo. Norris got the 9th place. All the results on the top of the screen, by the way. So, at the end, Hamilton, when the race finished, Max got the win. Second was Perez, and third was Russell. That was the top three. But at the end, when it finished, Hamilton was sitting there, and he looked crippled. He was crippled. He couldn't get out of the car. His back was hurting. That was because of the porpoising in his neck. So, listen, if you know anything about the human body, once your neck starts getting vibrating, it runs down to your spine, to your back. The neck controls everything. The neck is the core of your body. Once your neck goes, your back goes, and then your legs go. And that's how it goes. And Hamilton was suffering. He might even have a concussion. It took him about 5 minutes to get out the car because his body was so hurt. That's because of the porpoising. Now, the F1 community, not the F1 community, well, the F1, the managers of the team, they need to get together, and the drivers need to get together and get this sorted. Get rid of the ground effect, not working. Or enable the cars for the next couple of races to have a higher rake. Because when Mercedes' car is higher, the porpoising disappears. But the other thing with having a higher rate car, then the speed reduces. So if the F1 community, if the FIA can enable all the drivers to have the same height in the higher rake, the cars, the same height, then it'll make it even. That's something they can do. That's something that what Toto was talking about today. That's something that Peter Windsor was talking about today. He's the F1 journalist, by the way, Hall of Famer. Someone I follow, Peter Windsor, legend. And he's also on Twitch as well. He was saying if they and the drivers, they were saying if they could get the cars higher, so all of them are at the same height, so it's even, yeah, and that'll cut out the porpoising for Mercedes and some other teams. Because at the end of the day, if Mercedes go higher rate now, if they hire their car now, they're going to lose speed. And then Red Bull, we all know Red Bull can go and run lower car, and that enables them to be faster. But if Mercedes go a lower car, they start porpoising. So if they allow all the drivers to have the same height and car a little bit higher, it'd be all good, if you know what I'm saying. That's the way they should go. High rate cars, all of them the same. That's what I'm trying to say. But that's the end of the review, man. That's the end of it. That's Baku in the history books. Max Verstappen won. 2 DNS by a double DNF by Ferrari. Hamilton finishing 4th place, which to me that was a good result for him. Another podium for George Russell, killing the points. And that's it, man. That's the end of the review. Next week we got Canada, finally back. It's been since the last time we was at Canada, 2019. Just like in Singapore, we're having Singapore this year. Last time we was there, 2019. Suzuka, last time we was there, 2019. All the classic track, Wall of Champions, Canada. We're going to be in Canada in, I think it's 6 days now. Well, 5 days now. So this is Solo P1 Sunday night. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget I'm on iTunes and Spotify. It's Solo P1 F1 Reviews. Type that in and then you'll see me. Hit the subscribe button on the iTunes, the follow on Spotify. Download the podcast. Listen to it in your car. Listen to it at the gym. Whatever you want. If you don't want to sit at home and watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on audio on iTunes and Spotify. Don't forget to hit subscribe button, guys. The likes and the likes really help out the video. The likes it gets it more out in the algorithm on YouTube. So this is Solo P1 signing out. See you later, guys. Bye.